Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome to a preview of this very brightly colored game right here called Gems of Iridescia. It is published by Rockstone and Dice, who is sponsoring today's video, so a huge thank you to them. It's designed by Roberto Panetta, and it has illustrations by Sarah Conlon, aka Freeds. Hopefully I'm saying that name right, but Gems of Iridescia is a game for 1 to 4 players, so it does have a solo mode, which is awesome. And this video will be going up on September 10th. That is actually the date that this campaign goes live. So I will have a link down in the description box so you guys can go and check out the campaign for Gems of Iridescia if it sounds like something that you are interested in. But yes, this will be going up on the 10th, and I will actually be doing a solo live stream here on the channel on the 12th. So in 2 days, if you guys are wanting to see a full solo playthrough so you can get a better feel if this is something for you. If you are a solo player, then definitely come and check that out. Join me for the live stream. It will be on September 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But today I'm just going to be going over an aim of the game as well as all of the components. I will say right now this is a prototype. This is also the I forget what it's called. It is the Iridescent edition. So this is what I'm going to say is probably the more deluxeified edition of this, which I will get into the different components of what is going to be deluxeified in this edition, as opposed to the more like retail edition or the standard edition of this. We'll get into that with the components, but I will also be going over how the game plays so you guys can get a better feel if this is something that you are interested in checking out and backing over on the campaign. So if you guys are interested in that, then just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. Also hit that subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. Comment down below if Gems of Iridescia is one that you're interested in. And without further ado, let's get into this preview of Gems of Iridescia, shall we? All right, so getting into a little bit of an aim of the game of Gems of Iridescia. So basically the story behind this game is that Iridescia, some catastrophic kind of event has happened, and all of the inhabitants of Iridescia have taken to the sky, and they've kind of lived up there for a bit. And now that the lands of Iridescia are safe again, everyone is coming home, and each player, so 1 to 4 players, is going to be taking on the role of an explorer coming back home to Iridescia, and you are going to be exploring the lands that you've been away from for a while. You're also going to be mining gems, trying to restore relics, and ultimately trying to be the one player or the one explorer that ascends to the throne. At the end of the game, it is going to be the player with the most victory points or most royalty points. Also, there is the Iridescia stone that each player is also trying to seek out and find as well. So yes, that is pretty much everything for the aim of the game. So moving into the components, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is the iridescent edition of Gems of Iridescia. So this is more so the deluxeified version of it. So there are going to be some more deluxeified components than the standard edition. A lot of the standard edition components are just going to be punch out things, whereas in this edition you have the kind of wooden tokens of all of the punch outs. So you have these different things that you're going to be collecting once you make it up to the city tiles. All of the gems are also going to be the wooden meeples, and they also have this beautiful foiling on them. I will put in some B-roll, but I will say the gems are probably some of the most like beautiful components in a game that I've ever seen. I love them so much. They're all foiled. Also, additionally, for the tiles, they are also going to be foiled as well. I will say I do love that more publishing companies are coming out with games with foiling. So all the tiles have foiling on them. The components have some foiling on them as well. I'm not 100% sure all of the deluxeified components and the differences between them, but obviously if you go to the campaign page, it will explain all of the differences between the two there. But let's get into a little bit of the components here. So you have the main board here, which ultimately in this game, you are racing to the top. So all the players are going to be starting at the bottom and exploring their way all the way up to the top, which is going to be the city area here. And once all players have gotten to the city, that is going to trigger the end of the game, and then you're going to be counting up victory points in various ways, which we'll get into. But it is ultimately a race to the top. You can kind of take your time collecting gems throughout the exploration here, but you do want to keep up pace with the other players because you are racing to the top, and these here are going to get you victory points based off of if you are first to get to the top, second, third, so on and so forth. So this is the main board here, and you have the different levels of the kind of exploration area here. So you have this kind of desert area, you have the canyons, the forest, the mountains, and then the city. I'm not 100% sure if those are the correct terms, but they are all face down, so you cannot see what gem is on each tile. But each tile is going to have a gem, or there's going to be one kind of wild token in each of those levels as well. Also down in this bottom, your right-hand corner is going to be some endgame scoring. So there's a little bit of set collection with the collection of the different tiles, as well as the collection of the different relics that you get. You also have these stone dice here, which you can gain throughout the game in order to better mine for the gems. You also have these 4 gem dice right here. These are actually the gem market, and the market is going to fluctuate throughout the game when you are exploring here based off of what tiles you are going onto. That is going to make the market die go up, and then eventually it will crash. And these dice are going to determine how much you're going to be able to sell your gems for, and they will also be the kind of number you have to roll or higher in order to mine that specific type of gem, which I will get into. But that is everything for the main board, and then obviously you have the scoring track along the outside, and then I did put the Iridia stone up here, but that is just a special stone that you are possibly going to be able to get. It's going to be one of the top tiles up here. So yes, that is everything for the main board. Below the main board here, we have a few different types of cards. So you have some different item cards here that you're going to be able to purchase throughout the game. Those are going to give you different abilities. You also have the relic cards down here, which are ultimately why you are mining these gems. You are trying to get certain gems in order to restore these different relics. Those are going to get you victory points. And it's also going to help you with doing some of the set collection as well. So those are the cards down there. You also have some cards over here. These are actually the kind of secret objective cards. So each player is going to get a secret objective at the beginning of the game, and they are going to be a bunch of different things. It could be that you want to restore each type, one of each type of relic. Could be that you just want to restore 5 or more relics in general, different things like that. Also over here, I've already pointed these out, but these are the royalty scoring tokens. Like I said, based off of who gets to the top first, you're going to be able to take the highest victory point royalty scoring token. So if you're first there, you get the throne, and that's going to get you 7 victory points. And then the second place is going to get 5 victory points. Third place is going to get 3 victory points. Obviously, this will change based off of player counts, and some of them will be taken out based off of player count as well. So those are the royalty scoring tokens. We also over here have the solo deck of cards. So you are going to be going against an AI. This is called the ROM robots. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's RHOM. ROM robots, and you're going to, like I said, be playing against them. You're going to be flipping over cards, so on and so forth. Like I said, I will be doing a solo playthrough, so join me for that if you guys want to see that. There's also some barricade tokens for the solo mode, which again, we will get into that when I do the solo playthrough. We have some coins over here. They come in 5s and 1s. And then we also over here have the different gems. So you have green, yellow, blue, and purple. Green is obviously emerald, yellow is citrine, blue is sapphire, and purple is amethyst. So you have those there. Like I said, in the standard edition, those will just be punch outs. And then I think lastly, you have each of the player boards. So each player is going to get a player board. They're going to be playing as a clan. So you have the Rom, Moja, we also have Kito and Uven. I think. I'm probably pronouncing those wrong, but those are the 4 different clans that you can play as. So yellow, green, blue, and red. And each player board is going to have 7 spots for gems. That is the max amount of gems that you can carry, and you're going to be placing the gems onto your board there. Each player is also going to have 2 mining dice that they're going to be rolling throughout the game to mine the gems. Each player is going to have a little meeple, which I think is very cute that like the front and the back are separate illustrations. So you have like the front of the character and the back of the character. I thought that was very cute. But this is going to be the meeple that you're going to be using to explore and move up on the main board. Each player is going to start with a certain amount of coins as well. And I do believe that that is all of the components. Additionally, each player is going to have a player aid that is going to go over your turn and exactly what you're going to be doing on your turn. So that is everything for the components and the aim of the game. Speaking about what you're going to be doing on your turn, let's get into exactly how Gems of Iridescia plays. So getting into exactly how Gems of Iridescia is played, it is going to be played in turn order, starting with the first player. Each player is just going to have a turn, and that's going to continue round and round in turn order until all players have made it to the top in the castle row, and then that's going to trigger the end of the game. And then you're going to go into final scoring, and then whoever has the most victory points will be the winner. So starting with the first player, which it does say in the rule book, the first player is the person that is wearing the most gems, which is kind of fun. But yeah, starting with the first player, that player will take their turn, and a turn consists of 2 main actions and then a few other kind of optional actions that you can perform on your turn. So the first main action is to reveal tiles. So at the start of a player's turn, specifically at the beginning of the game, is a little bit different because you're starting with the first row here, but going forward it is always going to be revealing 2 tiles that are adjacent to yourself. But obviously, because at the starting of the game, no one is on the board, the first player actually gets to flip over 2 tiles of their choice. They don't need to be adjacent. So this player might decide to flip over these 2 here. And it's kind of interesting that I did flip over this tile right off of the bat, but this one here you guys will see in some B-roll, and also hopefully you can see it in front of me here. But this is actually a rainbow tile or a wild tile for this kind of area. So each of the different kind of sections of the board here are going to have 1 rainbow tile that is going to work as a wild tile. So this is going to act as any gem that you want it to be when you go onto there. But for, sake of the example here, we're not going to go to that one. We are going to go to this one here. So this player might decide to go to this tile here, which is going to be a sapphire. That player will then take their character, place it onto that tile, and then they will gain 1 sapphire. The player is always going to have to reveal 2 tiles or up to 2 tiles. Sometimes you will not be able to reveal any tiles because all of the tiles around you are already revealed, or you could possibly just reveal 1 tile. It depends on where you are on the board, but you can reveal up to 2 tiles, and then you are going to move 1 spot onto an adjacent tile. So in this situation, like I said, this player goes on to the sapphire tile. And I will mention, when you are exploring and moving to an adjacent tile, you can only ever go to the sides or above you. So you always have to kind of be making your way up or staying on the same kind of row that you're already in. You can never go back. So once you've kind of gone past a row and you've kind of forfeited going to some of the gem spots, you're not going to be able to go back. Also, as you explore further and further up this board, some of the tiles are going to start to have some bonuses on them. So for this one here, for example, you get a citrine gem, and then you also will gain 2 coins. So some of them, as you go up, are going to give you bonuses, whether that be coins, royalty points, or some of them are also going to give you some of these stone dice, or 1 of these stone dice, which, like I said, are going to allow you to have more dice to roll when you are mining gems, which I will get into. But those are the 2 main actions for your turn. You're going to reveal up to 2 tiles and then move on to an adjacent tile, collect the gem of that tile. If I did go on to this kind of wild tile, I could decide which one of the 4 gems that I wanted to collect, and then you would move on to a few different optional actions. So there are going to be 4 different optional actions that you can perform. The first one is going to be mine gems. The second one is going to be purchasing an item card, third is playing an item card, and then fourth is going to be selling gems. So let's get into the mining gems action. So if the player decides to mine gems, they first will have to pay 3 coins. You always have to pay 3 coins when you want to mine gems. So I would pay those 3 coins to the supply, and I would then take my 2 mining dice. If you did have any of these additional stone dice, that would be when you would be able to roll them. And note that you would have to then get rid of this stone die at the end of this turn. So the thing with these stone dice is that you kind of want to build up your coins so that you can get the most benefit out of this stone die as possible, because if you decide to mine gems multiple times by paying 3 coins a few times, you'd be able to get the most out of this stone die. Because basically what's going to happen when you mine dice is you're going to have your 2 mining die, you're going to roll those, and then based off of what you roll and based off of the gem that you're mining, so in this situation we have the sapphire gem, you're going to look at the market die for that specific gem. In this case, all of them have started at 2 and they're going to go up from there and then eventually crash, which I will get into. But as of right now, I would have to roll a 2 or higher in order to successfully mine that gem. So for each die that I rolled a 2 or higher, I would then be able to gain that gem. So I actually did roll a 6 and a 4, so I would then be able to get 2 more sapphire from the supply and add those to my player board. So if I did have a stone die and I also rolled that and also got above a 2, I would then be able to get even more gems. So it would be a great way to kind of build up your possibilities of getting more and more gems. So that is everything for the mine gems action. The next action would be to purchase an item card from the merchant row here. So there are going to be a bunch of different item cards. Some item cards, I will say, will have this little flag icon in the top right hand corner. That means that that card has to be played before your main actions. So they have to be played before you reveal tiles and move on to a tile. Also, all of these item cards are going to be kind of one use only, so you can purchase them and then you can play them at any time. So that's another action that you can take on your turn, is playing a card, and you can play an item card the same turn that you purchased it. So these are all going to cost a certain amount of coins. The lowest one here that I have is like 2 coins all the way up to 6 coins. And like I said, these are just going to be one-time things. So this, for example, here is the Epic Elixir. I could purchase this for 6 coins, and I would be able to, when I played this card, just take an additional turn, which I think would be pretty nice to have. So all of these are going to be different abilities that you can gain, purchase with your coins, and play at a separate time or right when you purchase them. The third action, like I just went over, is playing a card. So if you did purchase an item card in a past turn and you had them in your hand or just off to the side, you would then be able to decide to play that card on another turn, and then whatever that ability is, do that ability. And the last optional action that you can take on your turn is going to be selling gems. So you're really going to want to do this when the market dice are pretty high. So like I said, right now, all of them start at 2. So based off of the market die, you're going to be able to sell that specific type of gem. You can only sell one type of gem, but you can sell as many of that gem as you would like. And you're going to sell each gem for whatever that market die is. So currently Sapphire is at 2. So I could, on my turn, decide to sell all 3 of these sapphires for 2 each and gain 6 coins. Obviously, this would be a better action to take once this market die was maybe all the way up to 5 or 6, and I would be able to get like 15 to 18 coins, which would be absolutely crazy, but pretty awesome. That would allow you to gain a lot of the item cards, as well as give you that action to be able to mine more gems. So it's really important to, sell at the right times whenever the market dice are at a good spot. So that is the last action that you can take on your turn, which is selling gems. And I will mention that the selling gems as well as the purchasing cards actions can only be done once per turn. So you can only ever purchase one card on your turn, and you can only ever sell one type of gem on your turn. And then lastly, at the end of a player's turn, they're going to do a few things. The one thing is optional, which is restoring a relic. So if there is a relic that they have the gems for, that player can turn in those gems to the supply in order to gain that relic. That will then get them some victory points. So there's going to be like 6, 9, 5, 7, a varying amount of victory points or royalty points that you can gain from restoring the relics. And then also you're going to keep those off to the side because they are going to, one, help you with your secret objective, and then also they're going to help you with endgame scoring with some set collection. There are 4 different types of relics. So there are jewelry relics, tech relics, lore relics, as well as Iridia relics, which Iridia ones can be used as a wild. So you guys will see here on the main board that there's going to be some end game scoring for set collection of the relics. So 3 jewelry will get you 5 victory points. 1 of each jewelry, tech, and lore will get you 5 victory points. 3 tech will get you 7, and 3 lore will get you 9. So that is a little bit of set collection there. And there's also going to be some set collection with the tiles that you gather. So basically, after you have decided if you want to restore a relic or not, you're going to take your character off of this tile. You're going to take the tile that you are on, place that beside your board for, like I said, some set collection at the end of the game. And then you're going to place your character back onto the hexagon-shaped area on the main board to get prepared for your next turn. And then the very last thing that you're going to do on your turn is you're going to adjust the market die. So based off of the tile that you took off of the board, you're going to take that die and you're going to put it up 1 pip. So in this situation, I would take the sapphire die and put it from a 2 to a 3. So this is going to be how the market dice are going to go up, up, up. And then once it gets to 6 and that market die needs to be adjusted again, unfortunately, the sapphire market is going to crash. And that die is then going to go from 6 all the way down to 1. So that would be everything for one player's turn. Once that player was finished, it would go on to the next player, and play would continue, like I said, from that player's position. They can then reveal 2 tiles, and then you're going to move on to one of the adjacent tiles. That tile does not have to be the tile that you flipped or any of the tiles that were flipped. It could actually be a tile that was already flipped, but you're going to continue moving either to the side or up until all players have made it up to the top and have taken one of the top tiles, which these are the castle tiles. And these tiles are all going to have a gem, a regular gem. There's also going to be a rainbow tile in this row as well. And each of these tiles are going to also gain you 5 victory points. But there's also going to be another special tile in this top row, and that is the Iridia stone. So this is going to, instead of giving you 5 victory points, it's going to give you 10 victory points. That player is going to get this tile, which is going to be a wild tile for the purposes of doing the set collection at the end of the game. And it's also going to get you this Iridia stone that you can put into your player board. And that is also going to be able to be used as a wild when collecting a relic at the end of the game or on your last turn before the end of the game. So once all players have made it to the top and they've collected one of the castle tiles, that will trigger the end of the game and you will go into final scoring, which let's get into that right now. So getting into the final scoring, obviously throughout the game, you will be gaining royalty points for the relics that you're restoring. So you're going to gain them right away. Once you restore that relic, you're going to go up that many royalty points on the board. But at the end of the game, there's going to be some additional things. So for every 2 of the gems that you still have on your board, you're going to get 1 royalty point. And then you're also going to do the set collection with the different relics. So like I said, 3 jewelry is going to get you 5. 1 of each is going to get you 5. 3 of the tech relics is going to get you 7 victory points, and then 3 of the lore relics are going to get you 9 victory points. And then, like I said, if you do get an Iridia relic, that can be used as any of the 3 for set collection purposes. And then also, you're going to be doing some set collection with the tiles that you collect. So as you explore the tiles that you go onto, like I said, at the end of your turn, you're going to be taking and putting beside your board. And if you have 3 of the same tile, you're going to get 3 victory points. 5 of the same tile, so I mean the same gemstone on the tile, you're gonna get 7 victory points. And if you can get 7 of the same gemstone tile from the board, you can get 12 victory points. So those are some of these set collections there. You're going to check your secret objective, and then you're going to gain the victory points at the bottom if you have successfully completed your objective. So this one here is restore 1 relic from each type of gem. So each relic is also going to have a little icon that is going to show you the type of gem that that relic is. It also shows you on the back of the card as well, but that's going to be just for that objective there. There's a bunch of different objectives that you can get, but you're going to score your secret objective, and then the player with the most royalty points at the end of the game is going to be the winner of Gems of Iridescia. All right, friends, so that is going to be everything for this preview of Gems of Iridescia. Please let me know if this is something that you were interested in. Like I said, I will have the link in the description box to the campaign if this sounds like something that you would enjoy. Definitely go and check it out. A huge thank you again to Rockstone and Dice for sponsoring today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.